Snow White. Long ago, in a kingdom far away, there lived a handsome king. He was sad because his beautiful wife died, leaving him with a baby girl. Her lips were as red as blood, her hair was as black as ebony, and her skin was as white as snow. So she was called Snow White. Years passed, and a beautiful woman came to live in the kingdom. The king married her, and Snow White had a new mother. What neither she nor the king knew was that the new queen was very, very wicked and very, very vain. Every morning the wicked queen would ask her mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" And the mirror would reply,
"Of all the maidens far and near, you are the fairest of all, my dear."
"I love you," said the wicked queen, "because you always tell the truth." Even though Snow White was a princess, the wicked queen made her work all day, cooking, cleaning, and tending to the palace garden. Now one day, a prince was riding past. He stopped to talk to the princess.
"Hello there, fair maid,"
he said, and he was instantly struck by her beauty. Neither of them knew that the wicked queen was watching.
"Can I help you?" said the prince. "The two of us can get that job done in the blink of an eye."
"Kind sir, I don't think the queen would be happy." And at that minute, the wicked queen shouted, "Snow White, come in here at once. It's time for you to comb my hair." "I'm sorry, I must go," said Snow White, and she ran inside, leaving the prince marvelling at her beauty. Later that day, the wicked queen gazed at her reflection in the mirror and asked her usual question. "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" But this time the mirror replied,
"You, my queen, are fair, 'tis true, but there is one fairer still than you, a maid who knows what's wrong, what's right, with red, red lips. Her name's
Snow White." "I will have my huntsman take her to the forest and get rid of her, and he will bring me back her heart, so that I know the job has been done." The poor huntsman took Snow White into the forest. "I think I know why you've brought me here," she said. And the huntsman said, "Don't be afraid, I'm not going to hurt you, Snow White. But the queen is evil, and you must run deep into the forest and never look back. Go, go!" The good huntsman gave the queen a deer's heart, pretending it belonged to Snow White. "Excellent work, my man. I am overjoyed," said the queen. "And now, once again, I am the fairest in the land. Well, that's a relief." Meanwhile, in the forest, Snow White, tired from running, stumbled upon a tiny thatched cottage. The door was ajar, so she stepped inside. "Hello, is anyone at home?" Inside the house, there were 7 little chairs at a tiny table. "Goodness," said Snow White, "it looks like 7 little people live here." And she was right. Just then, through the door, came 7 dwarfs. Their names were Happy,
Sleepy,
Grumpy, Sneezy,
Dopey,
Bashful,
and Doc. "Goodness, what brings such a pretty girl to our humble home?" said Doc.
"I'm sorry, I have nowhere to live. My wicked stepmother has banished me from the palace. I'll happily look after you if I can stay."
"Look after us? Why, that is a splendid idea!" And the dwarfs all jumped for joy.
Meanwhile, the wicked queen hadn't spoken to her magic mirror for a while.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
You are, of course, the fairest, as far as the palace goes, but in the forest lives a girl prettier than a rose.
What? Could it be that Snow White is still alive? Oh!
The queen was furious. She hatched an evil plan. The wicked queen, dressed as an old woman, arrived at the cottage holding a shiny red apple.
Hello, my dear. Will you help a poor old woman and buy a big, fresh, juicy apple?
Snow White took pity on her.
Of course I will. I'll make a pie for my friend's tea. No, you will eat it now, my dear, now, and it will bring you good luck.
So Snow White, to please the old woman, took a bite of the apple. And very quickly she said,
Oh dear, I feel rather faint.
And with that, she fell to the floor. The wicked queen whipped off her disguise and said,
You're not just faint, my dear. You are in a permanent sleep. And once again, I am the fairest in the land.
When the dwarfs couldn't wake Snow White up, they decided to make her a bed of flowers under the trees. Every evening they would come home and tend to the flowers, hoping that one night they would find that she had woken. Then one day, a prince came riding through the forest. It was the same prince who had seen Snow White in the palace garden. He saw the girl lying on the bed of flowers and dismounted from his horse.
Oh my, he said, this is the same maiden I saw in the palace garden, and she is still every bit as beautiful.
And he bent down and kissed her. And suddenly, Snow White was awake.
Oh, hello,
she said.
Forgive me, said the prince. You looked so beautiful.
Thank you for kissing me. Without your magic kiss, I would have slept forever.
At that moment, the dwarves arrived home. They jumped for joy when they saw that Snow White was awake.
Hooray! She's awake! She's back
with us!
Meanwhile, back at the palace, the queen was asking her daily question.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?
To me, your majesty, it will always be you. But Snow White has risen, and she's the fairest, 'tis true.
No!
Screamed the queen. And she grabbed the mirror and threw it to the floor, smashing it into a million pieces. But a voice cried out,
The one who breaks the mirror must replace its fall. You are now the mirror, my queen. You go on the wall.
And with that, the queen was stuck inside the frame of the mirror forever. Back at the palace, Snow White and her prince were reunited with the king.
Snow White! They told me you had run away, and only today the huntsman told me the truth. Your wicked stepmother will never ever bother you again, my child, but make sure you don't go chatting to any mirrors.
And Snow White and the prince were married. And the 7 dwarves all came to the wedding, and they jumped and jumped for joy.